There's no way. It's silicone.
Warning, I have no experience in DIY. I'm converting my garage into a studio and a workshop. This video may make you extremely upset in several different ways, but I'll try my best to learn from my mistakes. Please do not copy anything I do in this video series, as you may hurt yourself. If you do have any feedback, advice, or comments, please leave them down below. Let's crack on.
You ready to see how it's been left? And again, obviously bear in mind that it's gonna all be rendered, but that is now the garage. Like I said, remember the issues that we had with the glass itself, so we've just covered it over at the moment to make sure that there's not going to be any water that comes through, and we've got the DPM that's coming down and under anyway. Same with the door. This will be absolutely fine, completely waterproof for now. That's what it looks like over this side as well. How incredible is that? I can't believe it. It's really starting to take shape, and again, I think just full credit, in all honesty, goes to Lee for doing this, because I'm just like a bit of a worker's mate, just helping out a little bit, running back and forth and doing the bits, but he's the one who's really, you know, taking this to another level. Really grateful. And so far, I can't wait to see the final product.
Good morning, I think. Episode 8 is what we're currently on. And boy, oh boy, do I have a story for you. The last video I took was at the end, I think, of when we finished, and now everything is solid and we are looking good. Again, windows not being in just yet because of a glass situation, a very silly glass situation, I might add, which I'm going to get into in a second. Unfortunately, at the moment, there isn't really any space for me to put this down at like a normal height. So I'm just going to have to hold it and talk to you. You see this behind me? Probably not, but there's glass. Now, at the end of the last garage video, I'm going to try and put it at an angle. There was what seemed to be a crack on the other side of this glass. First and foremost, a really quick thank you to every single person who on the last video said, Joey, if that was real toughened glass, if you did have a crack, it would be more of a shatter. It wouldn't be like a line crack, a linear one like that. It would be that the whole pane of glass would just shatter into a million pieces. I read those comments and I thought, nah, there's a crack. You know, when I picked it up, at least there's a crack. I looked at it, I said, that's a crack. We put it down and that was it. And then this happened on this video. Okay, I'm recording this now because I can't believe what I've just seen. Oh man. So everybody in the comments was saying, Joey, you've got to check that, because if it was really toughened glass, you'd have like shatters everywhere. And I've just gone to check. Oh my gosh. There's no way. It's silicone. I don't believe it. Oh no, what an idiot. So let me fill in the blanks real quick. I then decided, after I realized it was a crack, I called up the supplier who supplied me the glass and the door frames and the windows. And I believe it's called Affordable Doors. Now I'm gonna leave a link to them down below, and there's a very special reason why I'm gonna do that, which is not something that I would usually do. I spoke to a lovely bloke called Neil, and I basically said, mate, I've got a picture on the day it was delivered. Here's that picture, and here's a picture of it today, looking, you know, a little bit more clear with the actual crack itself. I believe that when the glass was delivered, there was a crack in it already. So is there anything we can do about that? Immediately, that was via email. The next day at 9 AM, I sent the email on a Sunday. The next day at 9 AM, he reached out to me and said, I think your number's incorrect. I've tried to give you a call. When you see this, can you give me a call back? I unfortunately didn't see that until 2 PM that day. So I've given Neil at Affordable Doors a call. He said, mate, no worries. We can get that replaced for you completely free of charge. He said, usually we wouldn't be able to do that because pictures must be acquired when the actual delivery happens. I did ask him, I said, does the driver have any pictures? Because that's what I put in the email. Could you please send me any pictures that your driver has? Because when they got here, the driver took pictures, and he said, well, it cuts out the bottom of the glass. I think, which is obviously a heavy reason as to why he's just said, don't worry about it, we'll get it replaced to you. So straight off the bat, really amazing customer service. Considering the fact this was a good few days after the item had already been delivered, Neil reached out and said, we're just gonna replace it free of charge. Then this video happened. What an idiot. The one where I figured out that it wasn't a crack. And I obviously had to make a very embarrassing phone call to Neil.
Hello there. Yeah, my name's Joey. Is Neil about? Can you just let him know that I don't need the replacement glass anymore? Because the crack...
No, you don't need it.
No, I don't need it, no. Because the crack that was seemingly on the pane was actually silicone.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
cheers, buddy. Thank you. Cheers, bye.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Neil wasn't there at the time, so I had to speak to somebody else to pass on a message to Neil, and then I later on spoke to Neil. Neil then said with the glass that it might be a little bit too late because they've probably already started the production process. However, if it is too late, he was going to send me the window pane again free of charge and just said keep it, because otherwise what's going to happen is it will just go in the skip. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, so you're just going to give me a free window? He said, yeah, just keep it in your loft or something, and then if anything happens to one of them, you've got one free. So that's why I'm going to leave a link down below to Affordable Doors. And again, shout out to Neil, because he was really nice bloke. He also told me about the healing and towing and stuff, which is what we're going to be looking at today. And hopefully, long story short, we're going to have the windows and doors put in, as well as some other bits that myself and Lee need to do today. Honestly, I mean, the embarrassment of me having to turn around and say, oh yeah, it's not a crack, it's just silicone. Can you imagine? But I don't really expect anything different with JDT, to be honest. And those are the, you know, the real life struggles that some people have to go through. Anyway, I imagine it's going to be time to crack on soon. It's the weekend, it's bright and early, it's about 7:30 in the morning. So let's get to work.
And then I'm going to show you what to do with the noggin.
Here he is here. So we're going to, Lee's done the uprights, and it's now, they're not evenly spaced, are they? They don't need to be evenly spaced.
Well, they're spaced, measured to fit the OSB board.
Measured to fit the OSB board?
Yeah, so we've got OSB going to the centre of an upright. Then we've got one supporting the OSB in the middle.
And then you said about doing the noggins as well. Do you do one noggin in each panel, or is it like a couple?
We're just going to do centre.
Yep.
So what we'll do, we'll draw a centre line. We'll do a level line all the way around.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll put the noggins in, and the noggins go staggered, so one above, one below, one above, one below. I'll show you that afterwards.
Okay, so I'm gonna have a go at noggining, is what we'll call it. I've got two vents here. I don't know if you guys remember the two vents. We've decided that I'm probably gonna keep them, because if I do want some aircon, it would be good to have one for at least ventilation, and then I can maybe keep the other one for some sort of aircon. I don't know if they're big enough for aircon. Obviously, I need to get people in to discuss that. But what Lee's done as well is he's put an upright a little bit further across so that it's not in the way. You said the noggin might be in the way.
No, the noggin won't be in. We
noggin
can move the noggin around.
But yeah, we've got enough room there to
They're unblocked if you need them. If not, airflow.
To get to that screw though, will somebody be able to get to that screw? Do you think?
To be honest,
take it out.
Yeah, you're getting to that, but to be honest, they're just old tumble dryer.
So you could just smash them out.
I just want to go around the bottom of all of the DPC, make sure it's all fitting. That tray's all nicely tucked away and fixed, and then it'll be ready for first fix electrics,
which is going to be fun. And that's going to be my cousin who's sorting that out, which I need to contact. Who is certified? Yeah. So now we're moving.
75 and 15/16.
So we've got loads of bits of offcuts, haven't we?
Yeah, loads of noggin bits.
These will be noggin bits, won't they? I'm recording this because I find it super interesting the way that Lee is so easily able to do this.
Warm today.
Makes it look so easy. And there we go, with the uprights in. Look at that. Lovely jubbly.
So light switch is going to be above noggins. Any sockets you've got down the bottom for, if I don't know, if you want one for hoovering or whatever you want to do. Your dado trunking will be above your bench.
Yeah, I just don't know where the bench is going to be yet. I think it's going to be back wall. And where I'm going to have my bench, I'm going to have the need for a lot of strength as well. But we're going to have the OSB and we're going to have plasterboard. So I don't need any wood behind to drill into, do I?
No, you've got your
those two things will be fine.
Your OSB is what you put that there for strength for screwing things on the wall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any cables going into the dado will come from the end of the dado. So they're not necessarily going to be coming from behind the stud. So no noggins are going to be in the way of your dado.
So if I had dado going across this wall,
yep.
Are you saying that the wiring would go either that way or that way?
Well, yeah. Is the fuse board staying where Where
yeah, staying where it is, yeah.
So where
Yeah, go on.
where the windows and doors are, obviously
Yeah.
we've got a sloping ceiling, haven't we? We'll actually show the top of the window reveal level, so that you for hanging your blinds on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will come across straight, nice and straight.
It'll come across, and it might just sort of step in like that, but at least you'll have a top.
Because that'll be plasterboard that goes there, won't it?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
So it'll be a nice finish, but you're just not going to see like the whole.
Plasterboard's going to come there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. But if we followed the line of the ceiling at the moment, that's out of level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of the slope. So what we'll do is that will come down slightly, plasterboard, and it will go across there like that, but level. So this will be leveled up.
I'm just thinking about the dado. If he's routing it that way, going up here, maybe I start the dado here,
Yeah, you could.
and then have it going all the way across the back wall,
around the back of your.
and then that's where, yeah.
And it might be worth you thinking about
I need to know where to put my benches.
at this stage where the bench is going. We know the height's going to be the height that you want it, probably the height of your desk, perhaps. I don't know. You have got a lot of airflow here because what you got to think is all this is open behind here, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got the two vents.
All
there
this
at
is
the
open
moment.
here, so all this is.
Yeah.
It's just where we've got these odd noggins. We'll just drill a couple of holes. These noggins are serving no purpose other than, well, they're stopping these rafters from twisting. But
I'm just trying to. It's one of those things that I don't know how to plan it, and the thing is, if I don't plan it now, and do the actions now, I feel like I'm really going to regret it later once everything's in, and I go, why didn't I think of that? So, but it's trying to think of everything before you do it, which is a tough one. But so that we've just marked
You're
a
gonna
line
get your
dead
timber,
cent. Yeah.
put it like that. Mark the pencil line,
Yeah.
and then go and cut.
How come you put like the
So you're cutting that side of the line.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Yeah, let me just double check. So you come up to here or up there, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So just there, you line it up
So
and then cut
there.
it inside. Yeah,
Cut there.
yeah. And you want it to be a little bit stuck in, so then you can just hammer it down.
Yeah, you don't want it to be too tight because it'll bend the timber.
Okay.
You don't want it to be too loose because it'll fall out.
Okay, fine. And how are you getting a screw here?
No. You're going to screw this end.
Yeah.
I'll do that end with some nails to start it off, and then the rest of them. So this one is going to go below the line there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is going to go above the line.
So I've got to move the tripod. And I asked Lee what the K was about, and he said, well, you need to cut it this side of the line. That's what we're going to do. So it doesn't matter which way, does it?
Well, it's easier if you can see the left-hand side of the blade as you're cutting.
And I can just
Take your foot away.
take my foot away.
Yeah, take your foot away and just hold it there. That's it.
Just like that.
All right. Right, let's see if you've cut that. Cut that nice.
That's all right.
Yeah, look at that. Look.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Well, you measured it, so I've not really done much there, but
Yeah. Is that all right?
yeah. How come you're twisting it though? Like, what's that about?
Hey,
How come you're twisting it about like this? You just
I'm just getting it in line.
like that?
Yeah. Right. If you push a screw for the end.
It just needs to be somewhere in the middle, yeah?
Yeah. Put that in there. All right.
Yeah. Okay. And then you said you were going to sort the end bit there.
Yeah, I'll sort the end bit out. I'll sort the end bit out after. So what you can do now,
So I just crack on.
underneath, mark, cut, and then you can drill from that end and that end.
How's that?
There you go.
And that's about the sort of
Yeah,
tightness that you want.
you don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose.
And sink one in from the other side as well.
Yep. Smart books and nails.
Do you want to just go at an angle here?
Yeah, you can do. You can go at an angle, or we can put some nails in it after.
Put some nails in without hurting myself. See how I get on with that.
Yeah, just don't hit the wrong nail.
So, what do we think of my, what is it, noggin work? Is that what we'll call it? We'll call it Joey's noggin work. I think she's all right. Lee leveled up all of these, and I obviously just put the noggins in. But then when we got over to this wall here, that was pretty much all me. So I'm happy with that. Really happy with the results. For somebody else, this might be like the most simple thing in the world, but for me, it feels really good. I think you can probably hear my daughter like singing and stuff in the background, man. It's a really nice sunny day today as well. But that makes me proud. At least I've done something, you know? So Lee's just confirmed. If Lee can shut that door, open that door real quick. Actually, yeah, do that one. So it's a lot better than what it was with the toe and heel situation, but it's still maybe what, even like 1.5 mil or something. It just needs to come up a little bit. So we're just gonna adjust the hinges ever so slightly, and there's some other little tips that we need to do. I'm a little bit of a mess right now. A lot's happened, and this is how we're now looking with the windows and the doors in. Finally. We did have a few teething issues, didn't we, Lee? But we worked it out. So these are the caps that come off here. So you pop these caps off from the inside using the Allen keys I showed you last time. You move that in, pop the cover off, and then you reveal some more Allen keys. You take them off, there's 3 of them on the hinges. And you can actually move the doors up and down. Who would have thought? So we sorted that. And I've actually got my cousin round as well. I won't show you his face just in case he's camera shy. Lee's put this bit of wood where the consumer unit's gonna go, the new one, which is actually a bit bigger than the old one. So that's going to sit there nice and flush, and then probably have a socket down here as well as a switch for some of the Ethernet ports, the Ethernet cables that are coming in. Josh, my cousin's done the cabling for the downlights as well. So we're going to go 8 in total, 4 on each side, all split nice and evenly. We'll get some smart bulbs in there as well so that we can change it with the app. She's ran a lot of the cabling, as you can see, along the top of the door frame. Over. And then down here we got sockets galore. I probably wound them both up with my socket talk, to be honest, because I keep changing my mind, but I've got 4 on there. They're doubles, and they're gonna be just standard sockets. And I think what I'm gonna have is the dado coming across here, all the way across this wall. No dado over there. And I've got the double sockets down here as well. So we've got 3 double sockets on this wall, which is where majority of the bench stuff is gonna go anyway. And worst case scenario, if I need more, I can have an extension lead at the bottom, but I'm going to have dado at the top, so I can just add as many as I want. Josh has actually put a cable up here, just in case I decide to get aircon. Oh, sorry, no, the aircon unit's down there, sorry. That's where the aircon one is, that's down there. So we're just going to spiral that up in case I want to get a unit. And the other one is just power for potential cameras, etc. This, however, is a little bit of a pain point of mine. So the door now, if you have a look, it's gorgeous. It's flush, it locks. It's really nice, and it's all really nice and even. Right? The only pain point I have is that when I shut it and I lift both the handles up to lock, right? Look, quite a bit of give at the top. And that happens even if you've got one of these open. If I shut one of them, for example, actually, let me do the other one because that's meant to be the main one, isn't it? So if I shut this one and lock it, so I've pulled that up now, there's quite a lot of wobble, even when the other one's shut as well. You see that? So, and if I go up to here, you can see here, you've got where the locking mechanism is, right? And you can see how much wobble, look. And that's locked, supposedly. So I don't know why it's doing that. It's almost like the locking mechanism is just way too small for the hole, but I don't know. So I'm gonna have to investigate that, because that's one of the things that will annoy me, especially like in the winter. If it's really windy and I'm recording and that's doing that, it's not gonna be good.
You get it on your hands, you've got to get it off for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks? And then do you just chop it once it's dry?
Yeah, we'll assume next week.
so don't breathe it in. Oh, I didn't see you there. Let me show you into my crib. Oh, yes. I don't know how this is going to look lighting-wise. And I'm sorry it kind of jumped out earlier very quickly. Reason being is that my cousin wasn't actually meant to be coming today, but Lee had said, why don't you just give him a call and see what he's up to, because we're pretty much ahead of things now. So I called him. I said, hey, mate, are you busy today? He said, no. I said, do you want to come round and have a look at some stuff? We're just getting some things together. It would be good to know some information about the fuse box. And he was like, yeah, give me 30 minutes, I'll be around. I was like, okay, sound. Unfortunately, he didn't have the fuse box because he needs to order it in, but this is our current fuse board, which is just put on here for now. I've turned it off because obviously we're done in here for the day sort of thing. But again, this is the board behind, and that's where the fuse board is gonna sit on there. This is just a temporary measure. And then I'll have a switch as well as some plug sockets and stuff down there. And I think I'm kind of more aware now as to what the layout is actually gonna be. So this corner over here is probably where my desk is gonna be. So literally coming up from where you enter up to the corner. And I think I'm gonna have a nice big corner desk, which then runs across there. Hence why I've got 3 double sockets at the foot. Up here, I'm gonna have the dado going across, as I would have explained before. And then I'm also gonna have dado come in along here as well. I think though the dado might start here. There's plenty of sockets for all my random pieces of equipment. I'm talking, if I want to have 4 monitors, I can have 4 monitors, as well as stuff like bench power supplies, ultrasonic cleaner, hot plate. There's just so much stuff that I can now have in one place because I've got all the sockets spread out. And worst case scenario, if I don't want to use a socket or there's not many sockets available, I can just use an extension lead. But the whole good thing about using dado is that you can literally just plug and play sockets. It's definitely more expensive than using extension leads, so I might go ahead and use extension leads if I need to. But the idea is that I should have enough for like my base layer of equipment that I'm gonna use for repairs and YouTubing. And then on the opposite side, I'm gonna have 4 double sockets at the bottom. I'm not gonna have any dado there. So essentially, it's literally just gonna be a wall, and I'll get some nice paneling or something so that if I've got my desk here, and I've got my corner desk, then at least the back is gonna be, you'll probably see some bench equipment stuff here, and I'm thinking of like some nice wood paneling or something behind. So when I've got my camera facing me, that is what you're gonna see. So I'll decorate that wall, the YouTube plaques, the paintings, Tidder's stuff, all of that, all of those good things, you know, and just sockets, because why not? Just in case I end up having a TV somewhere or something like that. Spotlights, here we go. I told you, I think before, I'm not sure, I'm gonna tell you again, but we've got 8 going up and they're all spaced out evenly, 2, 2, 2, 2. On this wall, I've got a double socket, and then running on the back, I've got 2 double sockets here where the garage door is. Garage door's been pinned in. We put a little bit of expanding foam as well, but having a little bit of airflow there is not gonna hurt because again, we've built 50 mil, if you remember from the earlier videos, we built 50 mil behind the stud work to allow this ventilation. So we're gonna have nice, good, positive airflow. And again, you can see the little vents that we've got up there as well. And the wires have all been, you know, taped in, ready to go. So we've got 2 sets of holes, essentially, which run up top. This one's hiding up here. So we've got 2, and the reason being is because I'm gonna try and explain this in Sparky terms now, but I'll probably get it wrong. So I've got a switch here for the lights, but I'm gonna have smart bulbs. So for when I'm recording and stuff, I can turn them off if I want to. So an example, I'd be sat here, I just wanna have these 2 on, or maybe even just this one and have like a bit of a dramatic effect at the back. I can do that because I have a smart bulb, but I'm just gonna have one switch and then I'll be controlling the rest of the bulbs from my phone. That's not plumbed in properly at the moment. And then I've got, I don't know if he was talking about rings and radials and whatnot, but there's, on the fuse board, I'm gonna try and get this right. I'm gonna have 8 different circuits. So there was an option for 4 or 8 and we kind of worked it out and I wanted to go 8. So I'm gonna have 1 on there for the security cameras. 1 will be for the sockets where my PC is, which is gonna be an important thing. I don't want any sort of data loss there or something with the trip. Then I'm gonna have 1 that contains the dado stuff, because with the dado, that's where I'm gonna be, for example, testing consoles and using my power supplies and all those things. So having them on a separate circuit really makes sense. And then if I get an aircon, that's gonna be on another one as well. So that's 4 used up already, and I'm sure there'll be some other use cases that I can think of to have some extra. I'd rather have spare than no spare at all. So we've gone with an 8 fuse box. That makes sense. Somebody actually suggested in the live stream as well to have a couple of, so there's gonna be Cat 6 that actually comes in, and I'm gonna have 3 separate Cat 6s that come in from my house into the garage, and that's for redundancy. So if one goes for whatever reason, because it's gonna be going under the concrete, I've got 2 more. That's the plan, and apparently it can't be within 50 mil of the actual power cable because of interference and whatnot. So there will need to be another hole, but that's going to go into here. The whole point is that then I'll have one of those cables going into a switch. It'll be a power over Ethernet. So then for my security cameras and everything, if I need PoE, I've got PoE. But regardless, I'll wire up PoE to the cameras. If I need it, I need it. And if I don't, I don't. But there is also power going to where the cameras are. So I'm going to have a power point and a data point to each of where the security cameras are going to go. Because why not? Redundancies and whatnot. So Joe, what's the next part of this project? It's going to be the Cat 6 going round, and then also insulating. That's going to be our next thing. So I need to spend a lot of money now. I've got OSB, don't forget. So these noggins here, where the electrical boxes are, have actually gone back 10 mil. So it allows us, these ones haven't because they're like the main support ones. Whereas these ones here have gone back 10 mil so that it allows the depth for when we have the OSB and the plasterboard on the walls. But remember, the walls are going to be insulation first, 50 mil, then it's going to be OSB, then it's going to be plasterboard. And that is where it leaves us, as well as obviously padding out the roof as much as we need to. Exciting times, and it's all moving quite quickly now. These are all going to be like the finite details, and big shout out to, again, both Josh and Lee, because I've been stressing a little bit today about where to put things, because I kind of almost need those final decisions now. And these are the decisions that are going to affect me in the long run. So I've just kind of had to let it go and say, right, this is exactly what we're going to do. We'll put sockets here, here, here. I changed my mind about 10 times when they were here, but I think this makes the most logistical sense. And like I said, I think I do want my desk here. I could move things around, and that's the whole point about having, you know, the even spotlights, is that if I do want to move stuff around, then because we were thinking about having like 6 spotlights further down this way and 2 at the end and having the storage at the end, but I just said space them out evenly, because if we space them out evenly and I decide to have a bit of a room change, it doesn't look funny with the spotlights on the ceiling. So yeah, fun times. I'm really excited, but I'm nervous for like actually getting it done and, you know, being all sorted, because I feel like something's going to go wrong, but I think that's the pessimist in me, you know. I will also have, so there's quite a big recess here as well, and there's going to be quite a big windowsill, and also these will be blackout blinds, because I was a little bit worried if I'm having the PC here, which is on the left corner when you walk in. I was worried then about if I sat here, I've obviously got a nice little bit of light, and technically I'm going to be sat where my desk is going to be, so my camera will be like here. Well, it won't be, it might be a little bit further up or whatever, but so this is what you're going to see behind, or I'm going to put it here, or I could even put it here so you can see a little bit more of the room. That's kind of weird to see that on the screen actually. But that's the idea, and the thing is, I've got quite a lot of natural light coming through there, which will make my face look a bit bright. So the whole point is that I'm gonna have nice recessed blackout blinds so that I can really sort my light in as much as I want. And do you know what, one day if I do want a little bit of natural sunlight, I've got the option there, because I'll just wind the blind up or do whatever. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you're up to date. There's a rubbish update, but I'm gonna get a skip next weekend, because to be honest with you, I don't fancy doing 10 dump trips because I've got a lot of rubbish. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and as always, I shall see you in the next one. Peace.